Hello, Trailblazers, and welcome to yet another edition of Entrepreneurial Journey. And today, my guest is Anza Goodbar. This could be like the Good and Great podcast because my last name is Greathouse and your name is Goodbar. So
I
think
love it.
it's the first person I think I've interviewed with the last name that has good in it. So nice. And Anza is the CEO of Audietum. How do you Audietum?
Audietum. Audietum. Mm-hmm.
Nice. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about Audietum, but a little bit more about Anza is she has been a serial entrepreneur for how many years now?
Forever.
Nice.
I started in like 2004.
Awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to let Anza actually go into a little bit more about herself and where she came from and where she is now. And then I'm going to go into some questions. So
Fabulous.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Doug. Again, my name is Anza Goodbar, and I started my entrepreneurial journey actually coming right out of the womb. My parents were both entrepreneurs, and so I grew up working in a family business from the time I was about 11. My summers were spent helping my dad in his electronic business, and so my mom had a video rental business. I know that dates me, but back in the day when VCRs and all of those things were brand new, she started a video rental business. And so I just thought everybody was an entrepreneur. It didn't ever occur to me that people weren't. All of my friends, families, had restaurants or businesses in the town that we grew up in. And so when I first, entered corporate America, if you will, I wasn't a good fit because I wasn't a rule follower, right? I wanted to improve things and make things better and be spontaneous and fill this need. And it's like, no, this is your job and you need to work in these parameters. So in 2004, my oldest son was just wrapping up college and he said, Mom, I want to start a mortgage business and I need to do it with someone I can trust. How about we do it together? And I was at the end of about 12 years as being a professional meeting planner, and I was burnt out and I was ready for something new. And I said, you know what, let's do it. So for 4 years, we had an amazing run serving the subprime credit group doing mortgages. In 2008, we were primed to go national, and then little, known to us what was coming around the corner, that there was this huge crash going on in the mortgage industry. And so, unfortunately, our business didn't survive because all of the loans and things that were designed for the subprime market never came back. So we thought, you know what, we're going to be able to go in and do commercial loans. Commercial loans take a long time to get to the closing table. And so I was looking for the next thing. And, I went to see headhunters, not wanting to go back to work for someone else, but thinking maybe that's the avenue I need to go to. And they said, you are so marketable. We could get you $45,000 or $50,000 a year. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the lifestyle I have built. And it's not going to support, my current needs. And so I had met a woman who was a virtual assistant, and she kept telling me when we had our mortgage business, you need to do this. You need to do this. Hire one of my people. And I'm like, no, I need to have somebody in my office, not someone halfway around the world, who can bring signing packages to people, get them coffee, they can't do that virtually. And so she said, you know what? This is going to be the next big thing. And I was like, dumbest idea ever, whatever. But all of a sudden, here I am at this crossroad of there's no jobs that are going to pay me what I'm making. This is not going to survive. What's next? So I went to her and said, hey, I have a new perspective. What about this thing that you do? So she started describing what she did. And I thought, I could run a virtual business services company. And in my mind, I thought I'll service banks, mortgages, businesses, and do things virtually that I used to do in my business. Maybe that would get me around. Or I had 12 years of experience as a meeting planner. I could be a travel director. I could plan meetings remotely, yada, yada, yada. None of those things happened. But what did happen was women who wanted to start a business started coming to me saying, how do I start a business? What do I need to do? Or I have plateaued. I don't know how to get to the next level. And so my virtual business all of a sudden started turning into a coaching business organically, even before coaching was a thing. And, mind you, this is 2008. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of this technology is just kind of birthing itself. And so everybody's coming up with a program, a product, a thing for what you need to do online to grow an online business. And just like most of the coaches that you've probably talked to, and maybe you've even done yourself, they've bought these expensive products and services and programs that did not deliver the ROI that they were expecting. So over the years, I've done the masterminds, I've taught business principles, I've done the coaching. I created my own coaching program, the 6-Figure Life and Business Blueprint, to teach women how to take their passions and their interests and turn it into a business, especially during COVID, where they could be at home and still make good money because they needed to replace the income that maybe their job went away or they had to give up to help homeschool their kids. But one of the things that had been the common thread through all of it as I was working with entrepreneurs was, how do I get in front of my right audience? I can't find my people. I can't find my tribe. I've got all this information. I've got all this experience. I have this desire to help, but I'm not finding my people. Right. And so, maybe they're hopping along, making $20,000 a year. Maybe they're having $20,000 months and then nothing for months. And so they've got this, high and low and this pitfall. So back in 2016, the presidential election, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on politically, doesn't matter. But there were a lot of people that thought Hillary Clinton was going to win the election, and then Donald Trump won. Well, was the polling off? I don't know that the polling was off. There was a lot of talk about the polling being off, but what happened was in the last push right before the election, there was a very targeted social media campaign to sway undecided voters to vote one way or the other. Who was more effective in that marketing? Donald Trump was. He came up winning, right? So we started thinking about this, about if you can use data to target an audience to make a decision in an election, can you not use data to identify your ideal avatar and be able to take the guesswork out of who you're trying to talk to? And so we started having conversations with people over at Cambridge Analytica, which was the company that they used. And Cambridge said, "You're too small, you're nobody, see you later." And it was like, all right, there have to be other companies that do this. So luckily we were between midterm cycles, and we finally got a data mining company to have a conversation with us and to be able to talk about how can you take this big business tool. Companies like Target, Procter & Gamble, pharmaceutical companies, they all have a very highly defined avatar that they market to, and they target their marketing to meet that avatar. So let's talk about Procter & Gamble. They probably have 6 different lines of detergent, but each one of those detergents have a very specific avatar, right? If you use flowery scents, that says something about you. If you use a detergent that doesn't have any fragrance to it, that might say that you're a family, you've got young kids, you have sensitive skin, maybe you have allergies. Those are triggers that dictate buying decisions, right? So we had this, we think, brilliant idea to say, coaches struggle to find their ideal customer. And one of the reasons is because they think that they can help everybody. I can help all women between 38 and 42 who want to lose weight. Well, you probably can, However, if you try to talk to all of those women, you're not going to talk to any of them because you're not going to hit their exact buying trigger or pain point, right? So online, for everybody who uses social media, uses Siri, Alexa, or any of those, Cortana, whoever, if you use location, if you use GPS, there are over 5,500 data points that are collected on all of us. And all of this data is available for research, right? To pull information together for large companies like I just named, Procter and Gamble, pharmaceuticals, political campaigns, whatever. Well, it's available to you and I too. The problem is it's just super expensive for you or I to go out and do this on our own. And so we started thinking, there are several different types of coaches that have a lot of similarities in who it is that they want to work with. And so we really help coaches make a highly defined avatar. So it isn't just a matter of, I work with women between 38 and 42. I work with women between 38 and 42 who are homeowners, who volunteer their time with these organizations, who read these types of books, who shop at these types of stores. And a lot of people think, well, why does that matter? Well, it matters because it tells us what their habits are. It tells us what their interests are. It tells us where they are now and where they want to go. It tells us what causes them to, pull the trigger on their purchase. And so we go beyond the demographics and we look into the psychographics and their buying patterns. Your grocery store knows exactly when you shop, how often you shop, what you buy, how much of each item you buy. So you probably get coupons or offers that are in alignment with what it is that you want to shop for. If you haven't been at your store, you might get an SMS message that says, hey, you weren't here last week. Where have you been? We've got this thing for you, right? Or you might get an SMS message because they know that you're in the store and they know that you like ice cream. Ben and Jerry's has a special. So you're going to get a text message while you're at the grocery store saying, hey, check out aisle 17. We've got a buy one, get one on Ben and Jerry's. Well, we can do the same type of targeting to build an audience for coaches and be able to take the guesswork out of one, where their ideal client is, so they don't have to try and build an audience and connect with people on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, or whatever. In the audience that we build for them, they get that information. So they know that Sue Smith is on Facebook, but Bob Jones is over on LinkedIn. And so what it allows you to do is not rely on an algorithm to choose for you who it thinks your ideal audience is. Even though you can build an audience inside of Ads Manager on different platforms, you're limited to a very small number of data points. We operate on about 550 of those data points to really hold it, pull it all together. And so you can upload this curated audience or this customized audience into Ads Manager. So you know exactly who you're talking to. You know exactly what your person's interests are, what their pain point is, what they've done in the past. You have that built in. And so you're able to really target and talk exactly to them. You could say, hey, Doug, I know that you have struggled with this. I have got this thing that's really going to help you. How do I know it's going to help you? Because I know that you've done this, but this is what you need. Let's chat, right? So you stop mining for potential leads and you start building relationship with people that you have a lot of knowledge about. And so you're able to have that one-on-one connection. And so it's been really fun to have gone through the journey of starting to help people build businesses and then get into the coaching business and see what's really going on. And, I've spent 10 years of my online career in the coaching field, but it's like, how do you really build your business? How do you really go beyond doing all the things? I don't know about you. I think I had seen a post in your group about how much time do you spend creating content.
Mhm.
How much time do you spend marketing? Most coaches spend between 70 and 80% of their time creating content, trying to connect with people.
Mhm.
What would your business look like if you spent 20% of your time creating content and 80% of your time actually coaching and doing the thing that you're passionate about and the thing that you love, and being able, to make those transformations and aha moments in people's life and business? It's a
Wow.
game changer.
Nice. So I'm going to throw out a lot of the questions because you answered a lot of them already, but I have a few questions based on what you've said. Like one of the
Sure.
things, anybody that knows a lot about me is I'm all about relationships, and the quicker you can get to that relationship, the better.
Yeah.
And a lot of coaches like, how do I get to that relationship? You've got to know something about that person, right?
Right.
And then what your service, is it a software? Is it a service?
It's a done for you service.
Okay,
Yeah.
done for you service. So
Yeah.
what that it helps is get you quicker to the relationship and get you quicker to a client,
Yes. Yes.
which is amazing.
Yeah, it is. And, one there's nobody else doing what we do. There's a lot of people that use offshore people to go through and mine through, profiles or Facebook groups, and they'll give you a list of, however many leads. Those are not high performing, high quality leads. Those are just people who maybe have a particular title or something, a search term that brings some commonality. Our process takes about 8 weeks from start to delivery. And so we start out to really build a high performing, highly defined avatar. And we take whoever they already have in their audience and who was a paying customer that would really be an ideal client. And we build depth into that. And then we take all of that information and we turn it over to our data scientists. And that's like a real job term. We're not just making this up. That's what they do. They're highly trained data analysts, and they pull in all of the people that meet that criteria. And so let's say they get 5 million people that meet that initial criteria. So then it's like we need to weed out people who really aren't interested.
Mhm.
And so we go through a process of surveying the people that showed up in that search. And so we're able to get rid of the people that don't have an interest in that coach's product or service. We go through and verify against death records, for instance. So we make sure that there's nobody that has moved on that is going to show up in their audience. Then we go through and we look at, what is the likelihood that they're going to purchase an item or a product or service like this based on their previous buying history that is available through data. And we get rid of all the people that don't have a propensity to buy or don't have that interest. And so they may end up with 150,000 people in their curated audience. And so they're going to know, like I said, where they're at on social media. And so they're able to create more of an omni-channel approach because they know exactly where their people are, and they don't have all these audiences that they don't know where there's the overlap. So they can meet them with the type of content that they need to produce for that particular level of social. They can reach out via the phone through SMS messaging and invite them to their conversion events. So they're able to engage immediately because they have such a big breadth of information about them. And then, we figure usually about 5% or so of their audience is going to be ready to buy right now. And you and I both know, there's people who are ready right now, people are going to be ready in 6 months, 18 months, and some people will never buy from you.
Yep.
But that these people have an interest in what you do. But, I don't know about you, but throughout my coaching career, I've had people say, I'd love to work with you, but I don't have the money, but I can't afford your product, right? So we have access to be able to look at credit availability and I'm going to just call it wealth management. So that the people, let's say that you have a $35,000 offer, that the people in your audience have the funds available or the credit line available to be able to afford your high ticket offer. And so we look at this as a 3-pronged stool, is that you need to have the right offer, you need to have the right messaging, and you need to have the right audience. You need all 3 of those.
Yep.
So if you have the right messaging and you have the right offer, once you get in front of the right group of people that you have helped us predetermine what kind of income guidelines there are, interests, hobbies, blah, 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 whatever, that when they come to you, they're primed and they're ready. One of our clients in one 90-day period did all the things that we all do as coaches. We run challenges, we send emails, we do, lead magnets and email campaigns, whatever. They ended up with 215 qualified leads. They converted 11. They had a $1,500 offer. They made $15,500. One of that same client used their curated audience. They ended up converting 215 leads with their first campaign, made $330,000 with their one offer. So, there's a big conversation that needs to happen. How is that going to change your business? Do you have the things in place to be able to manage that kind of growth? Can you service that kind of a jump in your business? But what would it mean for you to be able to have one thing, you go in and you can convert it? $330,000 isn't anything to laugh at, right?
Nope.
But if you want to build a 7-figure business or beyond, what if you did 2 launches a year or 3 launches a year? How would you be able to scale and grow your business more quickly? By being in front of the right audience. And so while we don't work with messaging and offers, we do have people that we contract with who are part of our team that can help people once they get their audience really dialed down to who it is they want to work with. We know that they can afford to, work with their high-end offer. How do we help them make sure that their messaging and offering is going to be correct for their audience? So, it's great that it's an 8-week process. It isn't just going into Ads Manager and toggling some switches and saying, yeah, they live in LA, they're this, they're that, and boom, I'm done. There's a lot of science that goes behind it. There's a lot of effort that goes into making sure that the people that you're working with are the people that you want to work with. You're not guessing or hoping. You're not spending a lot of time pre-qualifying. You're building that relationship. You're showing how you can add value. You know what their pain point is. And more importantly, you know how you can uniquely solve it for them. And that, that's part of the deal. If you follow Russell Brunson at all, you want to have your own blue ocean. You don't want to be out there in that red ocean with other people doing exactly what you do, exactly the way you do it. And so we have all of those kinds of conversations and make sure that the other 2 prongs of the stool are there in order to make the audience perform for them.
Nice. For my audience, I just want to say we will help you with the offer and the all that stuff leading into the audience. So and your funnel. So
right.
So we can help with that. And one thing I wanted to mention is a lot of times we will get clients just coming into Facebook ads, and they don't realize the time that it takes to get, if they don't already have their audience dialed in, the time that it takes to get that audience dialed in through Ads Manager is some people kind of know, some people know, but it still takes time.
It does.
So,
it's a big learning process. And, right now on Facebook, I've heard numbers between 25 and 30% are fake accounts or bots. And so when you're spending ad spend, you're already losing 30% of your ad spend on accounts that are never going to buy from you because they're not real. And so you take that out of the mix. And so, our product is not cheap when it comes to lead generation. But when you look at your cost per lead, your acquisition costs, and you look at the ROI that you're getting, it's a tremendously strategic investment into your business. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. And you know what? If you're doing all of this manually and just relying on organic leads, you're spending that money either through your time or through having a VA mind for things.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your ROI? I have a friend, she's a sales coach, and she's been running ads with her ads manager for quite a while. And I asked her, how are your ads performing? And she's like, oh, they're great. And I said, really? What have you converted? Oh, well, I haven't converted any, but they're joining my Facebook group. And I said, well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, that's great. And she's getting all these impressions, and she's, before tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people at this point, but nobody's converting. It's just like they're reading my emails, they're joining my Facebook group, they're showing up for my free training, but they're not converting. And so it's like you're spending all this money for ads, but you're not getting an ROI. You're not getting the conversion. You're not putting money in your pocket, and you're spending so much of your time, creating your ads, creating your live content, creating your email content, all of your social, and you're not doing what you really love to do. And so being able to really take control of who it is your message is going to is just a game changer for your business.
Nice. And if I might bring up too, something that your product helps with is the whole iOS thing, right? Because Apple has now they're attacking email.
Yeah.
They've already went after Facebook. Now they're attacking email. But if you have that audience, you're putting the audience in Facebook. You're not relying on Facebook to go find your audience. So
exactly.
That is huge. A lot of people have seen a huge decline in their ROI with the iOS update. So
and it's not going to get any better, folks.
Right.
Sadly, it's not. And again, just because these demographic points of data are not available to us because of different privacy rules and whatnot through Ads Manager, it doesn't mean that data is not available to you through other sources, because it is. Like I said, other companies are using it. It just isn't available through the tools that we have through Ad Manager on social media platforms. So, if you're looking for different results, you've got to try something new, right?
That's right.
That's true in any aspect of your business. If you're not getting the results that you want, you've got to tweak or change or stop doing. So what are the right things that you need to focus on in your business? If you were to look at your business from a bird's eye view, what's working? Celebrate that. Yay. What's not working? How could you do it differently? How could you do something differently entirely? And what really is your goal in your business? Do you want to be a 7-figure business owner? It used to be 6 figures was a big deal. It's not anymore. It's easy to get to have a 6-figure business, but if you want to get to 7 figures and beyond, you need to do some things differently. You need to have a scale plan. You need to be able to handle the things that are going to be a part of having that 7-figure business. Do you have the processes in place? Do you have the automations? Do you have the support? Do you have the right team members? There's a lot of things that you need to look at as you're going to scale your business. But if you want to scale your business quickly, having a curated audience and being able to partner with somebody like you who can help with the funnel, the message, the offer, and get that dialed in, that's a perfect partnership. That truly is like the perfect storm for growing and scaling your business.
Right. And as you had said, like a lot of coaches spend 70-80% of their time creating content. It's very hard to scale when you're doing that.
It is.
You're just focused on marketing. You're not focused on other parts of your business.
Right.
So another question, so that we can let everyone who your ideal client is for Audietum. I'm going to say that right.
I know, it's so hard.
Audietum.
Audietum. So think about audience and momentum.
Audietum. Okay.
Audietum. Yeah.
Audietum. Yes. So who is the ideal client for Audietum?
Sure. So we specifically work with business coaches, executive coaches, performance coaches, leadership coaches, mindset coaches, personal development coaches, and sales coaches who use ads to generate leads in their business. If that's part of their strategy, we find that we have the most success with that particular group of coaches.
I would think that they would have to already be at a certain income level generating with their business before they would come onto you,
Yes.
Audietum. So
Yes.
kind of talk about that. What income ranges
Sure.
would they need to be at?
So we ask that they are generating at least $5,000 a month in their business, and that they have an ad spend of at least $2,000 a month. We certainly will work with people outside of that parameter, because there's some people who haven't done ads, but they want to, but they've been afraid. And so some people don't have that ad spend piece there, but we find if they have $2,000 a month or more for ad spend, and they're generating at least $5,000 a month, they're a great candidate for working with us.
Okay, awesome. So if somebody wanted to work with you, how do they reach out to you? And of course, I'm going to have you in my back pocket for our clients.
Yay. I do want to throw out that we also can work with agencies who service coaches, because we can really help agencies be able to help all of their clients through a one-stop shop too. That's a different conversation, but we do offer that as well. The easiest way to find me is either Anza Goodbar, on any of the social media sites, or you can visit our website, which is just audietum.com. And we've got a little push button link that you can schedule a consultation call and talk with myself or one of my team members on the data creation team to see how this could help you scale your business and if it's a good fit for you for creating growth. Okay,
we'll put that link to the website below. It has been fabulous having you on here, and such value. Like the people that don't know about this are going to be like,
I hope so. Because it's a new way of thinking about lead generation. There's so many things that you can really stop doing and focus on doing more of the things that you really want to do. And like I said, it's going to save you time and money. You're not going to have to spend money on different types of support that you're doing now to do all the things. And if you really look back and say, is this working for me? And if it's not, don't do it anymore. Do something different, get a better result, because it's possible for you.
Yeah. And if I could just go back and touch on the ROI portion of it, you not only need to think about, yes, it's going to be an investment to do this, but think about the time you're saving, the other things you can probably cut out because you've got your marketing much more dialed in to the right audience.
Right.
It's more than just the ROI is going to be there.
It's going to be there. It's going to be there. And, and we also have some lending partners for people who maybe, coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people have really been struggling financially. So we do have some lending partners to make it affordable. And also for their clients who might be, struggling right now and needing help, we're happy to share our relationships and make introductions so they could have financing options to help pay for their high ticket items for their clients as well.
Nice. Once again, it has been fabulous having you on today, Anza. Any last parting words for our audience?
Well, I just want to say, if you're a coach and you love what you're doing and you want to help more people, I just would invite you to sit back and take a bird's eye view of where your business is today and where do you want to be in 12 months, and really make a list of the top 7 to 10 steps that you need to make in the next 12 months to get you there. And if you feel like you're curious about knowing more about what a curated audience could do for you, please, have a phone call with us. There's no pressure. We just want to learn more about you, what your struggles are. How can we help you? Can we, get you to that 7-figure goal? And, don't be afraid to dream big. A lot of times people are afraid to dream big, but I'm telling you, it's possible, and it could potentially be way easier than what you think. So, yeah.
I always say your goals need to scare you a little bit.
A lot. Yeah. Big, fat, scary dreams.
Yep.
And if you're not dreaming big enough where you're scared, your dream isn't big enough. You've got to have that fear to really keep you engaged and get that momentum going.
That's right. Thank you once again.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This has been such a fun conversation.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.